Whatever. But anyway, I'm excited to have Adam on with us today because we have been, where's the book? We have been, I don't have slides because we're going to roll through this. We've been obsessed with this book. And I don't know, has anybody read it? I feel like Jill, you have, yes, I was going to say, I know Jill Sayer has. This book is a game changer. And are you getting 10X? Okay, he's going to get the other one too. Both of these are by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. This is the book that we both used, Adam and I, gosh, I'm on his computer and I can't figure out how to do anything on here, brighten the screen, anything. Okay, here we go. We both used this book to really plan our year for this year, and a lot of other things too, like personal stuff, but especially for our business. So if you haven't read Be Your Future Self Now, I would highly encourage you to get this and read it. Here is the other one, 10X is easier than 2X. He actually wrote this one first and this one, but I found it a little bit better to read this one first and then this one, but Adam liked this one first and then this one, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it matters.
No, it doesn't matter, but this one connected to this one, game changer.
Yeah, so
Game changer.
Whichever way. Jill, have you read 10X is easier than? Yeah, I thought so. Okay, so one of the things we wanted to do today, first, before we get started, I wanted to, if you've picked your word of the year, will you type it in the chat? If not, no biggie, but I'm anxious to see if you guys have picked a word of the year. Heather, have you picked a word of the year? Nope. Okay, Jill Sayer, growth. Amanda, forward. I love that. Jill Campbell, rise. That's a really good one. Here we go. We got another one coming in. Win and thrive, Melissa. Those are good. Freedom. Oh, that's good. Assignment, Jamie. That was mine last year, and it's such a good word. Josh is committed. Love it. Love that so much. Mine is results, and the last couple of years, mine have been more kind of personal and business. Here's Jake Watts. He's awake. I can't believe it. He normally is not up at this time. Good. I'm glad he's on. Jake, thanks for joining us and getting up. This year I chose results because I need results. Like, I've been working on so many things for the last couple of years, personally, with my health, with Adam got me such a sexy Christmas gift this year. Jake's camera is on. And is his camera on? It is on. He really just rolled out of bed. Oh my gosh, how funny. Now his camera's off. Okay. I forgot. So I'm on my phone. He said, oh, hilarious. I'm just glad that you're on, Jake. I'm glad you're on. Adam got me a great, sexy Christmas gift this year. It's an entire year at Better Life, our concierge health doctor, with like every test that you can imagine, like quarterly blood work, all the supplements, all the things, which really is a great gift because it's super expensive. And I had been procrastinating doing it for the last 2 years, probably 3 years.
Long time.
And so finally I'm doing that this year. But so anyway, results is mine. And what was yours?
Future self.
Oh yeah, future self.
Straight from the book.
That's really 2 words, but that's okay.
Over a year.
That's 2 words too. Okay, so let's get started. Are you gonna kick it off with your iPad?
Try and kick it off. Yep. So
okay. Awesome.
This is something that with both of these books that I've been working with all of our coaches with and all of their clients with, specific to these 2 books. And it's such perfect timing that we are doing this right now. Let me see here. Where is
what are you trying to do?
Oh, here it is. Got it. I'm gonna share my iPad.
This is why we're on Adam's computer, because he's much more technological.
Let's see here. Okay, perfect. All right, let me go to my notes.
Wait, can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Can you see just the iPad or can you see the whole screen? Just the iPad?
Yeah, the iPad.
The screen.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Okay.
So let's have a conversation here related to this concept right here, and also this concept, right? Both of these concepts. If you haven't read these books, no big deal. We'll summarize them for you real quick. Though 10Xing is easier than 2Xing is, in my opinion, a real mindset shift, right? It's a mindset shift in the standpoint of you paying attention to your past self, actually. So this is what I've been, it's okay. This is what I've been focusing on, and it's with this simple little diagram that I've been playing with that looks something like this. So if we pay attention to where we are right now, let me get some pretty colors here. So we'll go here past, we'll go present. What are you making fun of? And future.
Not you.
Oh. So let's go past, present, and future. So as we look at where we are right now, so we just left
Wait.
2023.
Hold on, sorry, not to interrupt you, but I forgot to tell you guys, I don't have earrings on, but look, I wore my Wednesday sweater. So at least I got something right this morning. Okay, keep going. Sorry, squirrel.
Yep, total squirrel. Okay, so our past we just came from was last year, right? Though it's not necessarily just last year. I'm going to be 47 this year. She's going to be, oh, you just turned 40, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm way behind you.
And we have so much past preconditioning that the past preconditioning has brought us to where we are right now. This isn't anything new. You guys have heard this so many different ways, but we have to pay attention to it related to this book right here, because our past is dictating our current present, or our past is dictating our current present. Everything that we have experienced is leading us to right here, right now. You all may or may not have set goals for 2024. You all may or may not have had one sheets or vision boards created, though I want you to really sit in those spaces right there and say, what made me think about that goal? And I'll tell you what it was. It was your past, right? Your past was dictating your present. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Though what the 10X is easier than 2X book is telling you is we all have an 80-20. And it's not in the general sense of the 80-20 principle that we're all used to, though it can be that 20%, sure, is going to yield you 80% of your results. Yep, that's true. And then flip side, the converse of that, 80% is going to yield you 20% of your results. Anybody can get 2X better. Anybody. I don't care that you're in the real estate world. I don't care what world you're in, whether the market's going up or down. It doesn't matter. Anybody can get 2X better. Through the book, it says through grit, through momentum, and you can bring both of these things with you. Both your 80% that I call your anchor and your 20% that I call your GSD. You can look that up. GSD is get stuff done. We'll call it get stuff done. Now, let's look at planning for this year. If you really want to 10X something, what just happened? Oh, hold on. It crashed. Hold on.
What crashed?
I don't know. Heather did something. Try again. Hold on. Let's stop that. Stop that. Stop. Oh, there we are. Okay, perfect. Right back to where we were.
It's not. It's
It's
not
coming.
back.
It's coming. Try again.
Oh, Jill says it's there.
It's there. Okay.
Yeah, you're there.
Okay.
Oh, weird. We don't see it.
Yeah, we do. Right there.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay. So let's come back to this. So right now we're in the present. Present is today. It is 3/24. We have our goals. We have our visions. We have all of that set. And that is for our future. What's our future? Our future is our goals. Our future is our vision. Our future is our GSD. Our future is our actions, and so on and so forth. Though, if you want to step out of this 2X approach means that, yeah, you can get it done through grit, through momentum. You're going to have to let go of this 80%. Now, what does that mean, Adam? Well, here's what it means. Is your future self, okay, so now we're going into this book right here.
Yeah.
Your future self has to be crystal clear. Again, this isn't anything we haven't heard before, though spend some time. One of my coaches, personal coaches, says, Adam, you got to make space for whatever that feeling is that maybe you are hiding from, right? What causes people not to achieve? Well, we know what that is. It looks like this. It is lack of effort or action, judgment, and fear of success. Okay. All three of these live in our world one way, shape, or form. And I don't care whether that's health, wealth, relationships, spirituality, it all lives there. Though your future self has to be crystal clear on what specifically you're looking to accomplish. And then watch this. Let me draw a big old red X here. This has to come back to live in the present. So this all right here goes away. Your 20% comes over here, which now becomes your new 80%. Okay. This 20% that you don't know, I call white space. Okay. Stay with me here for 1 second. So we've got a future vision of yourself. We've got that now dictating our current present. And this right here, this new 20% that we don't know what to do, this is where the money is, right? And I don't mean that literally. This is where you get to grow. This is where you get to really step into, I don't know how to do something. So if you don't know how to do something, you've got two options, right? You've got a who, not a how. Right? Guess what? Another Benjamin Hardy book. And what's really unique about this approach is when you can step into that space of your future self, be committed to it. So much so, honey, let me ask you a question. If Frankie ran outside right now, what would you go do?
Run outside.
Well, if Frankie was getting ready to cross the road and there was a big old highway, what would you do?
Go towards the road.
You would actually put yourself in danger to protect that silly little dog, wouldn't you? Oh, that loving dog. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. So I want you to think about your future self like Frankie or your own Frankie, right? You have to protect your Frankie. You've got to really step into the space and say, okay, fine. Is what I'm doing right now protecting my future, protecting me as a future sense? And that right there is starting to live in this space of unknown, right? That's the fun part. Is when you are like, I just don't know how to do that. You're living in the white space. That's good. If you go, now let's do something silly here. Let's go into an 80%. Well, Adam, what would be an 80% that I'm carrying forward? If you get caught scrolling, right? We all scroll through Instagram, we scroll through TikTok, we do whatever it is. We go into our black holes of social media. There's nothing wrong with that. It just is not protecting your future self, right? If you catch yourself doing that, that's okay. Stop, pause, and say, am I protecting my Frankie? Right? The answer is probably no, because you're wasting your time. And that's the fun part about all of these two books combined is when you can actually have clarity on your future, you then bring that feeling, that action, right? In one of these books, I think it was this one. Again, we've heard this many different ways. Write yourself a letter. Write yourself a letter a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. When we were driving back from Florida, Addison and Amelia, the kiddos, play massive amounts of tennis, and we had them write their letters to themselves. Addison would be 20 and Amelia would be 18. And we had them write letters back to themselves, their 15 and 13-year-old selves. And where's my phone? Oh, I don't. Oh, here. Let me read one of them to you. It's fascinating. So this is what Addison said. He said, I'll read it to you. Again, this is a 15-year-old writing himself a letter as a 20-year-old. He says, what's up, man? This is Addison from January 1st, 2029. You're 20 years old. You have been driving for what feels like forever. My mom was a nervous wreck when you started, but now she's used to it. You finally graduated from Scholars, that's the school they go to, just a couple years ago. The graduation speech, they all have to do a graduation speech, was just as embarrassing as you thought it was, even though your sister bawled her eyes out. You graduated from LTP, that's the academy, as a 12.3 UTR, that's a number, tennis rating. And number 14 in tennis recruiting, so his entire class. Right now, he's in Gainesville, Florida, reading this letter. You might have to continue reading. I'm gonna get a little emotional.
Oh, really? I thought he did so good. We play number 4 on the team. The team has the top 4 best players on the country. We won a national championship last year, and you got the last singles point to clutch it You did the Shelton celebration, and that was that. Oh, is that when he does the call
Mhm,
me
the hang
thing?
up.
Okay, yeah. If anybody watches tennis, you'll know that. You improved drastically in college and are now at 14.24 UTR and going pro at the end of January. You still have the truck, but are nervous to stay on the road because Amelia can drive now, and you know how she is.
Okay, so that's a fun example of a 15-year-old writing himself a letter as a 20-year-old, and that's his future self.
The
right?
cool thing about that was, though, if the kids can do it, then we can surely
Right.
do it.
Yeah.
No matter what, no matter what age you're at, where are you going to be 10 years from now?
Now, he doesn't know right now how to get to that level 14. He does from a time on task standpoint, but that's that white space, right? Right now, he's about a 9 UTR and he wants to get to a 14, which is pretty much a professional level. That's white space there. He's not real sure how he's going to do that, though he's already put it out there. And so now he gets to protect that. So as I'm talking to him, I get to ask him, hey, are you doing the things that you need to be doing to protect your future self? So that's it in a
A
nutshell.
couple of things I wanted to share with you guys from the book on that 80-20 part that I thought were really good. And some of these really hit me like smack in the face. Heather's gonna laugh. The first one is a quote. It says, "To me, busy implies that the person is out of control of their life." And so that's why staying in your 20 is super important. Your schedule reflects your priorities. Your schedule reflects what you're actually committed to doing. And I like that because at the beginning of the year, I feel like we're much more committed to do things. And then as the year goes on, we kind of, drop off a little bit. But if we keep it and keep that in the forefront of our mind,
Hold on, think about that for a second. Sorry, I was getting some plugs. Think about that for a second. If you lose focus on your future self, you're going to wane away from whatever those said goals were that you set in December or January.
yep. Most schedules are dominated by urgent battles and lesser goals such as meetings and Zoom calls. Rarely does someone's schedule reflect and prioritize their future self over their current self.
Right.
Meaning we put the urgent in the current like above everything else. They were urgent but not important. If approached correctly, the principles in step 6, this is from step 6 chapter, could 10x or 100x not only your productive output, but more important, enable you to control your time rather than your schedule controlling you. Your time is the clearest indicator of your commitment. You can't hide how you spend your time, which I love. Gary Keller has always said he can tell anything about a person by looking at 2 things, their calendar and their checkbook, or, or now would be like your whatever online banking app. But how you spend your time and how you spend your money.
Well, hold on, stop there for a second, because let's open this up, because so many coaching clients that I've had, one of their first things that they say is, my calendar's a mess, or I put it in my calendar, but I don't stay with it. Right? Because again, as realtors, we get called in so many different ways. So let's talk about what we can do there to help that.
Yeah. Well, he keeps on going in here and says that if, however, your time is continually overrun with lesser goals and other people's agendas, then your desired future self will be frustrated. So I think one of the biggest things is really knowing what your future self looks like and what you're trying to get to, and then being able to say no to those other things. They have you do a really great exercise in the book. Let me see if I can find it. It's pretty much the premise of the whole book, but you figure out your main 3 priorities for the year.
Yeah.
And he talks about how Steve Jobs, when he was at Apple and then he left and then he came back, and he said the reason that Apple was in such a terrible place at that time was because they were focusing on like a million different products and different things. Then he came back and said, okay, we're only going to focus on these couple of things. And I don't remember what it was, but it was like the iPhone and the MacBook Pro and whatever else. There was like 3 or 4 things. But he says you have to get it down, because he said somewhere in the book, if you have more than 3, it's too many. What 3 priorities, if realized, would take your life to a totally different level? The priorities are the most important areas of your focus at this particular point in time. And he says, like, he shares saying how in 2010, Ben Hardy was 22. And so he said for the next 5 years, his 3 priorities were to get married, finish college, and get into a PhD program. And then from there, he did that in 4 years. And so then in 2014, his next 3 priorities were growing a family, finishing my PhD, and begin a writing career and become a professional writer. And then he did that.
See, I think you can only do this though is if you have either a community around you or if you have other who's around you that know what your future self or your goals are, right? Because I believe that we lie to ourselves. I
Mhm.
really do. I think that we will set goals, we'll put them out there, and we can let our own self down. It's funny, I just had one of my accountability partners text me because I sent him my 3 priorities and he sent me his 3 priorities. But we've been having a text message literally every day for the last 7 years. And it's just it's it's all about the who's, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta go surround yourself with a high level accountability people.
Yep, I agree with that. He walks through, it's really good. He walks through what his 3 priorities are like for each segment in his life. And then he breaks them down almost like a GPS, like what we would know as a 135 or a
Mhm.
GPS, but he takes his three. And then he gives the main priorities under each one, the goals that he needs to achieve in the next 12 months. And then after he does all that, he picks the most top 3 important ones because he says if he can 10x those, then everything else will happen. Like he doesn't even need to worry about all the other stuff because they'll fall into place.
Similar to the One Thing book.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
very similar to that. And then he says, go even a step further because Dan Sullivan says, when 10x is your measuring stick, you immediately see how you can bypass what everyone else is doing. And I do believe, especially for those of us in the real estate business, that over the next 1 to 3 years, like we're going to have a huge opportunity to 10x because there's going to be a lot of people that don't want to do this again. Actually, right after this, I'm recording a podcast with Linda and we're going to go over the 10 questions that Gary Keller asks himself at the end of every year. And one of them is, wait, this was the John Maxwell one. Sorry, I'm getting them mixed up. I have both of their 10 questions on my head, but one of them is, am I willing to do what it takes again next year? Like, am I willing to do this again? And I do think we'll see a lot of people in our industry that their answer is no to that. And so I think it'll create a big opportunity for us. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just simply going to say, if you're tired, if you feel depleted, if you maybe lose or have less motivation than you did this time last year, that's okay, right? That's you should not, don't feel bad, right? Again, what you need to do though is have crystal clarity on that future self, right? Very simple. Give yourself 3 simple priorities. Now this may sound a little backwards. Well, I won't share that. Go find the right who's, right? Go find the right who's, and all of you should
Heather
have.
and Jill know that makes me nervous when you're like, I'm like, oh gosh, what's he gonna say?
And this may be a shameless plug for the I Love Coaching company. Go get a coach, right? Go get a coach. And if your coach is your friend, fire them, please. Because here's the thing, they're not going to get you to where you want to go. I was always taught by one of my mentors, always be a great guy. Always be a great guy. Have high integrity. Always be a great guy. That doesn't mean you have to always be a nice guy, right? And so if you have a coach or if you have the who's around you that are saying, it's okay, you didn't have to hit your goals this week, this is going to be a tough year. Real estate's going to be a tough year.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough year.
I
Get clarity on your vision, your future self, and go find the right who's.
I love what he says in here about, and Sarah Weber will appreciate this because there's a little piece on like manifestation in here, which is so good. But I love what he says in here. When you know something is yours, you act differently than if you don't know. And he said, a salesperson, and I actually wrote on the side of like realtors, a salesperson who knows they're going to make a sale behaves very differently than the salesperson who just wants to make a sale.
Yes.
And that is so true. And so a lot of it is already believing and manifesting that it's going to happen. And so you're acting differently than like you're just dying for the next sale. And, your clients can feel that and everybody around you can feel that. When he has you do the exercise of closing your eyes and imagining your future self in specific detail, like where you want to be, where are you living, what home are you living in, who are you around, what did you complete? He talks about manifesting. And I love, he says, gratitude is a powerful emotion to use for manifesting because normally we feel gratitude after we receive something. So the emotional signature of gratitude means it has already happened. When you're thankful or you feel appreciation, you are in the ultimate state to receive. When you embrace gratitude, your body, as the unconscious mind, will begin to believe it in the future reality in the present moment. You have to really feel the emotions of your future. It's not an intellectual process. What do you believe you're worthy to receive? Can you teach your body emotionally what it will feel like to receive what it is that you want before it happens? In order for it to manifest, you have to be able to do this in the present moment. And so you're already grateful for what's happening 10 years from now, like your 10-year self. You're already like, man, I'm so grateful. Josh loves this. I can tell this is up Josh's alley too. You're already grateful for 10 years from now, the house that you have, or 10 years from now, you know, the relationships that you have or whatever. You're already in a space of gratitude for that. And if you even are, you know, bold enough to write those things down, I just think it's so good. We'll kind of end with this. He says, gratitude elevates from wanting to knowing, meaning you're not like, oh, I want to achieve this, or, oh, I want to have this. It's that you've elevated from wanting to knowing. You know that you're going to receive it. You know that it's going to happen. He said, when I truly want something, I meditate, visualize the desire as already mine, and pray until I reach a state of knowing. I totally accept that what I want is already mine and I'm at total peace. There's no lack, only utter gratitude and acceptance. And he said, once you do that enough, it just becomes kind of who you are. And so it's like your natural state of being. And I remember, I don't know who always said that, but like, if you think of like a closed fist versus like an open hand, like you can't receive when you're closed, but you can receive when your hand is open, right? So like you're already thinking that you've received, that you are receiving, and then you're in the mindset, kind of like, what do they say about money? Like scared money doesn't make money or something like that. Fear-based money doesn't make money or accept money. So like you already have to be in the abundant headspace that it's coming towards you. He said, faith knows it has already received and acts accordingly. It's knowing. The knowing automatically leads to an elevated and aligned doing. So every little action towards your future self is evidence of your faith, because you just believe that it's going to happen. And you accept that it already is going to. So really just to, oh gosh, and we're almost out of time. So just to wrap up, I would really encourage you all, go through the exercise. I know, Adam, if you want like the scribbly thing, we can send it to you that he did on the iPad. If you haven't,
I can make it cleaner.
if you haven't read the book, I would definitely read the book. I highlighted, actually, we were at Adam's. I had listened to this first, and then I was like, no, I need to read it because I wasn't in a good space. So I read it while we were in Florida. I read it in 2 days. And I was sitting on the couch in Adam's mom and stepdad's condo, and his stepdad was in his big chair reading a book, which is what he does all day, every day. And he looked at me and he said, what do you do after you read that book? And I said, what do you mean? And he said, like, well, what do you do with the highlighting part? And I said, well, I typically go back and type it into notes on like my notes app on the laptop so I can have it on my phone. And he said, well, you highlighted the whole book. Are you going to type the whole book? And I was like, maybe. Mind your business. But I highlighted so much and wrote so much inside the book. It's just a really, really good one. So thinking about your priorities and getting in the mindset of staying in those priorities and already receiving that, I believe, is a really great place to start your year.
Well, I would go back and I would, as you read this, audit that 80%. Right. You can look back and you know what you need to stop doing or let go of or find the right who for. And as it relates to this book, take time, you got to find quiet, right? You've got to find quiet. My quiet is on airplanes, right? When I get on airplanes, I'll go for a joyride just so I can have some quiet time. Go find your quiet and start to define your future self. Of however far that is. You want to do it in 6 months? Do for something for 6 months. You want to do it 12 months, 5 years, 10 years? Define that future self and then protect that Frankie, right? Protect that Frankie.
You guys won't forget that now with Frankie. All right. Have an awesome rest of your week. Thanks.
See you guys.
See you guys. Thank you. Bye, Jill. Thank you.
Bye,
Go
Sarah
get
Weber.
your earrings on. I am.